my response to response 10. With white friend, Emily's friend being white, talks about their relationship and their different, how they celebrate different, like traditions, and how each one represents like who they are in their own society, and like their different traditions and their different norms with each other, but also how they're still connected. And then talking about like the love quote, how like, are we just stuck with these people that we love, or do we choose to love them? But also love is growing, and love is let's see, it says it right here, the last part. Yeah, it being like no like roadmap or whatever. Like, it's, you're not stuck with these people that you love. You love them because you love them, and like that's what they admire about each other. And talking about like how their children are grown, but they bear no mark of their mother's ingenuity and insights into the work of making one's way in the world. So, like Emily sending her like kids to like Southern Vermont to experience like Lori's like house or whatever, like Camp Lori, and the difference is that like their kids are seeing like that age as well, is pretty important to know, and yeah, it really shows like how their experiences are, even as different people, like different colors, different races of people, like how they interact with each other, and how like even their own kids and them are learning. And in her glory, talking about like, it seemed like there was a lot of notion of like hair. I guess that was kind of like the example that they used in this story, and like how like she's like Emily's doing like these girls' hair, and her like braiding it kind of gives an insight about like the smell of it being like cocoa, like shea butter, like kind of gives you the insight of like that culture, and how they talk about like the girls, like the young girls are talking about like which doll is like more attractive, or which one is like pretty. They choose the one that like looks more like them, that they resemble. And yeah, it shows that this different side of like culture, like, yeah, it's also showing that like white blonde, like big eyes or something is beautiful, but also the notion of short hair, and the thick braids or cornrows was also beautiful. There's a symbolic meaning behind that, for the story, certainly what they're giving insight to. And yeah, like how, let me try to find it. And talking about like even when like I think it was Tamara, how they were getting their hair done, just something that they were like, it was time to do, they were like good about getting their hair done, like when their mom was doing it. But when the other kid was doing it, it was like they had to like force the kid to do it, so it's just part of like the culture and part of that belief, and the different teachings, and how like the braiding was like almost like meditation for her, when she was doing it to her daughter, like her hands felt like that had a purpose, and then whenever she got older and she had stopped doing like her hair, she had felt like her hands felt like not as useful, not as important, not as significant. So yeah, kind of exhibit that insight of the braiding like younger girls' hair, like from this side of the story, like that culture, and like how that's a meditative like sort of bonding experience, and how it's just like relaxing, right? But it's also part of like heritage and that norm in that culture.